Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Good evening, inhabitants of YouTube, denizens of the internet, people, guys, folks, yo. This is the end of the world phone-in. The number is both in the title of the video and displayed on the screen in front of you. And if anybody out there in the world of Streamland would like to phone in, the phone is hooked up, the lines are open, and if not, I'm going to drink a beer. Hey, all right. And smoke a fag, and talk about the end of the world. It's the end of the world phone-in. 5K, 1 killer. Hey there. So yeah, phone me, talk about the end of the world, have your say, raise issues for discussion across the board. Cheers. There is, of course, one burning topic of the jour. Thanks for watching, man. I may get back to making the fucking news in the long winter nights which are approaching, when I'm locked up thanks to the cranky fascist government in Scotland, who are at this very moment considering locking up the people of Scotland for a disease which, you know, insurance companies keep tables. When is Jesus coming back? Jesus is always coming. He's lucky like that. Jesus is always coming. It's like a never-ending orgasm. He never actually comes. Jesus is always at that moment, just where it's really, really good, and you think you're just about to come. Oh, but Jesus never comes. And that's why Jesus is God. He is sustaining an infinite, an orgasm that lasts an eternity. When they were talking about an eternity of bliss and joy that God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit were enjoying, I believe it was that kind of joy. Just that moment, just before you come and it's all over. Jesus is never coming back. Or here in the first place. I don't believe in Jesus. I mean, obviously I believe there are people who believe in Jesus. But I don't believe in Jesus. And because I have two phones, but due to the magic of technology, I can... you can phone me on this phone, and you can also Skype me. But I am going to have to reply to some texts. So, as I was saying, the burning issue of the day surely is the coronavirus. It's not a lie. I don't want anybody thinking that I'm some kind of nut job, as has been alleged recently. I swear. But I'm not. I just don't believe the formula. Let's start with the formula. Let's imagine that there genuinely, David Alley, genuinely is a deadly virus, which, you know, it would appear, you know, you get good money on that at the bookies. There's a virus, it kills people. It's not the only virus that kills people, therefore it's not implausible. Okay, there's a virus that kills people. When did we give a fuck about that? There are lots of things that kill people on Earth. This just logically does not add up. Therefore, the claimed justification for The claimed justification for the coronavirus does not add up. Therefore, it smells, and there is something else at work. And what is that? Anybody? Phone in and discuss. 07903953759. What's really going on? Anybody got any ideas? Anybody got any favorite conspiracy theories? You know, you may all be familiar with my favorite story. I like a good story. I like a good science fiction story. I believe we're on a giant science fiction roller coaster. Howl, Lone Wolf, good evening. Fur Babies, Commander Nightmares, A Fire in Hearts. Yeah, so what's really going on, since we're plainly not going to all die from a virus, but we have tanked the economy on, you know, wherever you live, I assure you, you're in masses of debt, oodles of debt, so much debt, you could have fought a war against China, Russia, and India combined, and you'd be in less debt. Honestly, we could have burned money all year. We could have burned all of the paper money in circulation, and we wouldn't be in as much debt, and the economy wouldn't be tanking as much. Yes, this is live. Cover, solver. You're rooting for the virus. Well, and I wish. Oh, man, I wish. Oh, wouldn't it be great? I would be so much happier, genuinely, if the dead were piling up. I mean, I'm actually for the dead piling up. You know, one of the problems I have with getting worked up about human affairs is I actually think there are too many of us. Sorry, I'm not picking who's going. It's not my job to choose who is leaving us, but, you know, there are too many of us for the way we live. Sure, if we all inhabited an organic knitted yurt, that would be fine. But we don't. There's no reason. It's not necessary for us to have iPhone 12s and hybrid cars, which are less environmentally friendly than a fucking double-decker bus. This is all a fabrication. It's a fabrication. The people who own and control everything made it like this. The end of America. Oh, say it ain't so. Dum, da, dum, 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 dum. I mean, you know, what's the betting that if you historically were to jump forward 400 years, there might still be an America, but everybody that you ever knew is dead, and a whole bunch of new people have been born, and they're doing something completely different. If we're lucky, they'll be doing something different. And I don't mean that in a doom-mongery way. I have to keep saying to people, I'm not a doom-monger. Just because I believe the planet's fucked and we're about to all suffer the consequences of our short-sightedness doesn't mean I think that's a bad thing. It's just a thing. So, yeah, the rich people are building their escape pods. I assure you, the rich have indeed. If I was rich, you know, where would you go? If I was rich, I would have purchased somewhere. Man, if I was rich, I'd purchase several places. I would purchase several places. One in New Zealand, yes, New Zealand. Lule Factory, hey there, Gibson. Yeah, so anybody, for those of you who have just joined us, it's the end of the world phone in. Do please phone in. I thoroughly enjoy actual voice communication, although I'll be happy to relay your comments to my brain and discuss them in a virtual way with you. The phone number's there on screen. It's also in the title of the video. Yeah, the Great Reset. The Great Reset is a thing. They actually wrote it. It's like a novel. You can read it at the beginning, the middle, and the end. It goes a bit like this. Switch everything off. Don't switch anything else on. Tidy up the dead bodies. That's the Great Reset. The management of famine, I believe, is one of the things that's coming. Don't have international calling. Do you know, I do have Skype. You can Skype me on FKN News. We could try that. I also have the same telephone number will get you Facebook Messenger. COVID designed to thin the elderly population. I could tell you a joke about the coronavirus thinning the elderly population, but 98% of you won't get it. Boom, boom. Coronavirus. Sandy McNabb, good morning. The coronavirus is not thinning out old people. I started saying earlier about insurance companies. Think of insurance companies as the most accurate bookies on the planet. Honestly, there's nothing insurance companies don't know about the likelihood of your death. They know all about it. They know it up, down, round and about and inside out. And they have these tables. And their vast resources are spent making sure that the tables of what the risk of dying for any particular age group in any socio-economic demographic is on any continent, even down to your fucking neighborhood. I can tell you that in Scotland, in somewhere like, used to be Govan, but now I believe it's Maryhill. Yeah, you can Skype me, Gibson, on FKN News with a Z. My other phone is sitting here waiting to Skype. So the life expectancy between Mulgai and Maryhill or Govan, there's a difference of like 20 years just by being slightly richer. And insurance companies know that. And insurance companies know how many people die every week of the year. They know how many people die in October, in Govan, in Scotland, in Britain, in the United Kingdom, in the world. They know that. That's their business. When you're buying that insurance you saw on the television, no medical necessary, it's because they know when you're going to fucking die. So you're 62, you smoked for 20 years, and you're a social drinker. You got 8 years left. And because they know that, they can sell you a product that exactly matches their need to house their money. Insurance is actually a break-even business. Not a lot of people know this, but it's true. Insurance companies around the world compete to sell you insurance at break-even. They make their money by taking your premiums and putting them in the stock market on the Hong Kong Currency Exchange overnight, because they've got gazillions of your money. And so just simply having it on a monthly basis to go into, clamshells or, unicorn shares is what they do. So they know when you're going to die, and they know how many people die, and all that jazz. So, nobody extra is dying. I mean, they did, at the start of the novel virus, they did. Some extra people did die. If you look at the tables, you will see that there's the normal amount of people who die at that time of year, March, April in Britain, and maybe it was sooner in your country, maybe later in America. And then there's this little peak where some extra people die. But that's over. That has stopped happening. There are no extra people dying now. Therefore, it's not a pandemic. Fear of death is slavery. It's absolute slavery. It's slavery of yourself to begin with, because, I think fear of death, knowing that you're going to die and that you are choosing to live your life a particular way is one thing, but fearing death is quite another thing. I think knowing that you're going to die, having an awareness of your mortality is good for you, because it makes you get up and do the things you like to do. Amen to that. Fear sells more than porn. Fear of missing out. I mean, fear of missing out. FOMO, that's a big one. So, since nobody extra is dying, the pandemic is not a pandemic, but you'd be forgiven for thinking it is because of all of the stuff telling you that it is. Isn't it incredible how much just repeating something can make it actually seem real? Maybe if we just keep saying, Santa Claus is coming, Santa Claus is coming, Santa Claus will actually turn up. You know, if enough mental batteries of human imagination just focused on Santa Claus being real. Oh, Santa Claus, please be real. Because I tell you, the manifestation of the virus where I live is very real. People are very afraid. They're very obeying. They're very compliant. Many of them can't wait to do exactly what they're told. I must have missed a meeting. I really must have missed a meeting. David Attenborough's new documentary, it's not scary enough. I could make a much scarier documentary. Not that you need to be scared, because it's going to happen in kind of slow motion, you know. We'll probably live out our lives in a kind of cross between the Stasi East German police state Mad Max and Brazil, if anybody's familiar with the film Brazil. Can't reach me on Skype, Gibson. My Skype FKN News is on. Yeah, there's Skype. Yeah, FKN News with a Z. Garg 2013, Mr. Cole. All right. Mr. Cole.
Hello there.
Is that you?
Hi. Yes, it is. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, I'm a long-time fan, man. Hello there.
I'm going to have to adjust the monitoring here. I might have to put headphones on.
Can you hear me okay?
Give me a second.
Oh, I'm a long-time fan, man. Oh, sorry. It looks like I had to close the YouTube stream.
Ah, that could be what's happening. But I'm going to put some headphones on so that I'm not monitoring it also.
All right.
All right.
Hey, man. You know what?
Oh, hey, I can see you as well.
Yes.
Bear with me a second. All right. Turn that down. Turn this up. Hit C on. Okay, try talking to me.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Okay, I think I got you. I think I got you.
So, how do you like the weather in Canada here?
Oh, you're in Canada, and it's it looks wet and grey.
Yes, it does.
Well, we're used to that in Scotland.
Do you remember? You remember a song you did called the Monkey Song?
Oh yeah, I do.
It's one of my favorites, man.
Well, we're going to be doing a version of that on Sunday night. It's not the same beat and thing. We're doing a more dub version on Sunday night with the Circus Fantasticus because I like the lyric. And yeah, I know I like that song, the Monkey Song.
Believe it or not, I guess the video that I found was recorded on the year I was born. So,
what,
27 years ago. 1993.
1993, yeah, I remember I shot that video in Kirkcaldy College when I was living in a bedsit in Kirkcaldy. Wow, you know, you don't look like somebody who was born in 1993. I don't know what 1993 is. How old is 1993? 2017, 37?
27 now.
27, all right, yeah.
What were you studying there?
At that time, I wasn't actually at the college. I used to sell dope to the guy who ran the video tech stuff. So he let me in to shoot the video while we were doing some business. But I did actually go on to study film and television in Edinburgh. What about yourself? Apart from being a smoker, for which I envy you, look at. I tell you what, man. Can you see me?
Oh, there we go.
All right. Yeah. I'm
I quit. It's a love-hate relationship kind of thing for me. I quit and then go back. And
yeah. Well,
only when I'm drinking kind of thing, and only after sex, and you know how it goes.
That was me. This is actually a fake fag. I just smoke it for sort of like nostalgia. But I only smoke this pipe. I don't do tobacco anymore.
Well, you know what? It's legal here now. I have a joint. I'll light it up with you if you're down. But
well, that's great.
My legal weed right here. It comes in a package, government taxed.
That's the
fiat currency, of course. Had to pay with it. Had to pay with my MasterCard, but it's legal.
Well, that's the kind of consumerism I can really get behind.
Well, you know what? It's a booming industry here in Canada. It's the biggest booming industry right now. Multi-billion-dollar industry. There's dispensaries and grow ops popping up everywhere. People are getting back to work. So,
yeah, we could. It could be a nice cottage industry for most countries in Britain, because of our the way things are in Britain. It's all run by Albanian crime gangs. And they are the people who now they run most of the.
So is it still illegal though?
Yes, it's completely illegal. There are moves to slightly decriminalize it for medicinal use, but it's really still. It's still on the books as illegal. However, the police don't bother. I mean, they really don't. They can't be bothered. You'd have to stub it out on their face to get their attention.
Cool,
so,
man.
How do you feel about the end of the world?
Well, you know what? The world's fucked. It's your fault. Have a nice weekend.
Well, yes, I agree. I was just wondering, though, if it's not the coronavirus, because I don't believe their justification. The coronavirus isn't killing enough people. So, what would you say is the reason for this global crisis, really, if it's not the avowed one?
I would say there's a bit of panic and fear-mongering going on, that's for sure. People are losing their minds over nothing. I mean, I don't know anyone who has it.
Yeah.
Do you?
No, I don't know anybody who has it or had it or died from it in the whole of Scotland. And Scotland's not a big place. I mean, 5 million people.
And from my understanding, it's not too different from the regular flu either.
My understanding is it depends on the strain. Obviously, it is novel. There have been a few, it is new in the sense that we've never suffered from it before. So there are a number of things about it which are new. But now it's settling down. I was just saying before we Skyped, the actuary tables of the insurance industry show nobody extra is dying. The normal number of people are dying this month in Scotland as normally die. Therefore, any claim as to a pandemic is patently bullshit.
Well, there's something that kind of piqued my interest that you might be able to pick up on. When they released the genome, the last RNA strands on the genome are 33 A's, and that's very irregular for a virus to have like 33 of one strand at the end of it. It's kind of like a fingerprint of sort.
Well, the French Nobel Prize winning virologist, Mr. Le Grandier, I'll have to Google it. I keep forgetting his name.
But there's a significance to the number 33, so.
Yeah. Well, he says it was made in a laboratory. And, if you're going to pick an expert, I say why not pick a Nobel Prize winning virologist? He says it was made in a laboratory. He's registered a question with the European Parliament asking them to investigate its origin. But he has no.
What do you think about the possibility that it was made in a laboratory and it got kind of out of hand and they lost control of it? Is that something that you think might be?
Yeah, why not? Yeah,
I mean, but the thing is, all the procedures that came out, the face masks and the little arrows in the supermarket, and it all just seemed like it was pre-planned, and it just kind of came out in
oh yeah,
incremental steps, right?
it's like
Hegelian dialectic.
it's like living the movie Contagion. If anybody's seen the movie Contagion, it's like they just, borrowed the script from that. The Nobel Prize winning scientist is Montagnier. He says he won the Nobel Prize for discovering the HIV virus. He says it was made in a laboratory and that it has elements of malaria and AIDS woven into it. And man, he would know, I would think, It just seems odd. To me, it's quite annoying that people believe things without checking or asking. So there's an awful lot of taking. When did we start believing the government? I must have fallen asleep because, when did the government ever have people go, oh yeah, no, the government said it. Oh, well, it must be true. It isn't, don't we have a load of jokes about how the government are liars? Politicians are liars. Now, all of a sudden, we believe this shit. I can't believe it. Still.
Do you think there's a symbolism behind it, behind the masks and
well, there's always a symbolism to something visual. There's if you like, it comes with the baggage. Masks come with baggage. Danger, hiding, secrecy. There's all kinds.
Do you know the Hippocrates oath?
Yes, I do. Do no harm.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they're making fun of us or rubbing it in our face. That perhaps we reached with all the Pizzagate stuff that came out and all there's like a wave of things happening that almost turned the whole thing over, and then it rolled back. So it makes me wonder if it's a kind of a joke that they're kind of rubbing it in our face that we can't talk too much.
I'm sure there are people somewhere laughing at us from a dimension on the other side of existence who are taking drugs that haven't hit the street yet, stimulating their pleasure circuits with electronic equipment that you've never seen in the Amazon catalog. I'm pretty sure of it. There's so much that we don't know. I think speculation, although it's fun, is often a trap, and they like to put conspiracy theorists into this group of people who are speculating wildly about things. So all of a sudden, we're all wildly speculating, whereas I like to just stick to, this is bullshit. I'm not adding anything to that. I'm not saying what the bullshit is, but it's total bullshit. It's illogical. The justification can't be, proven scientifically, medically, mathematically, in any way at all. Therefore, I don't have to come up with colourful stories as to what they're up to, although I would enjoy hearing some. But the fact is, they're lying to us, and this is bullshit.
So where's it going? How's it going to look next week?
Well, if you watch my stuff, you'll know that I think they're going to kill us all. That is what they're up to, in my view. That's my favourite story, because I would do it. I would. If I was sitting at the table, I would have said to somebody 30 years ago, you're not going to let these people keep breeding, are you? Really? You're going to let them keep making...
What about the Georgia Guidestones?
Yeah, I mean, that's... that is...
humanity under 1 billion.
I don't think necessarily everything is connected. You know that the electric guitar was invented in 3 different places simultaneously. Sometimes an idea has just come. And I think as we went through, from the First World War to the Second World War and the post-war baby boom, I think humans went through a period of rapid evolution where they did look around and go, do you know what? I don't think this can really go on. I think when we saw the clear cutting of the rainforest and the industrial fish machines, when entire oceans have poison in them, I think at the back of every human's head there's a little itch going, this can't be good, So
So you're saying there's more than one elitist group that came up with the eugenicist
No,
idea. What you're saying?
I'm saying that anybody, you, me, anybody in the human population from 1945 onwards could have gone, there's too many people. This is not good.
Great.
And those Georgia Guidestones, whoever made them could be just a guy like Ted Turner with loads of money who likes what he thinks, you know. They don't have to be, it doesn't all have to be Smirsh, the Mysterons and the Masons. There are lots of people who have ideas with money who can write books, create websites, make sculptures, you know.
But I mean, I'm sure there's people that are actively pursuing this agenda of calling the stock, and they think they're doing a great thing. And
Oh yeah,
I mean, that's.
I do.
I assume that's why we have most wars and.
Some, you know, a little of column A, a little of column B. I'm not against any of that. I wouldn't want anybody to think that I have a moral problem with the existence of people with more control, power, and influence than I. I think that I am just acknowledging they exist. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. There are people with, you know, hands on the levers of power, and whether they choose to make decisions, you know, or what choices they are making and why is unknown to me. Except I see the kind of impression it makes on the world, but I'm not sitting.
They clearly don't have any regard for the general mass of humanity. We're just disposable economic machines.
Well, any more than a farmer has any concern. Do you know, when there was a drought in Texas, the farmers killed all their yearlings because they couldn't afford to feed them. I mean, that's what you do. You don't go down to the bank and say, I'd like to borrow $10,000 to feed cattle no one's ever going to buy and that will be dead by April. You kill them, and you don't go to the bank. You don't get into £10,000 debt. So if I were running this planet, I wouldn't have let 8 billion people breed. I certainly wouldn't have, you know, reprocessed the atmosphere, set off nuclear weapons in our atmosphere and poisoned the ocean. But hey,
is it the mere like number of people or the way that we're living our lives? It seems everyone has. They want a TV and a big house and a car, cars.
That's what it is. If we had arrived at 8 billion people by all living in yurts, I'm sure it would be fine. I'm getting low power on my phone here, and I don't know what is feeding back. 1, 2. I don't know what is. There's something clipping in my room. But yeah. I'm not against what's being done. I'm against lying about what's being done. That is my problem. I wish they could be more Roman about the whole thing. Hey everybody, we're the Romans. We're running the show. We're going to kill some of you so there's enough food left for us. Okay? Anybody who's not cool with that, just stand over there so we can kill you quicker. All right. Okay, everybody good? Okay, all right. So, you know, it's the lying that gets me, and it's the people believing the lies when they're so obviously lies that really gets me, because that's kind of that points to a kind of ability to delude yourself, which is dangerous.
Yeah, seems everyone's just going along with what they say. I'm not seeing a lot of people that are fighting back or questioning. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would have thought there'd be more pushback, but.
Well, I would as well, but I'm too busy taking drugs and playing my guitar personally myself. So, you know, I'm hoping some other really civic-minded people get out there and man the barricades and stuff. I don't know about you, but
I'm in the same boat as you, my friend. I mean, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
I mean, I don't think that's bad advice at any time in history. I think, you know, that's a sort of base setting for the operating system, isn't it? You know, hey, while we're here, let's enjoy it.
Right. I mean, you can stress about it as much as you want, but even if you do, it's not productive for you, right? If you're not in a good place mentally, you can't help others, right?
Yeah, I don't know which Zen person, it might have been Buddha, said, feeling, feeling anger and bitterness towards a person is like taking poison and hoping they get ill. Now, I feel the same way about the world. I am not taking any poison for the world. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. The universe is very, very big. We could disappear in a puff of gamma ray burst tomorrow. I am not losing any sleep over the fate of the world, or humanity, or the rainforest. It just bothers me that people get lied to and believe it, and that's kind of why I keep pointing out. Wait a minute! Surely you've noticed this is a lie. Just so we all know.
I think that's what I really liked about the fucking news series is that it's kind of a commentary on the normal news where they just kind of dress it up for you. And you're how it is.
It was my therapy for quite a long time, because it's annoying, isn't it, to be subjected to the deluge and be unable to have your own voice. So I did that to make myself feel better, and it worked. And I do feel better. I might make some more. I am now, this battery is going to crash anytime soon. Garg, if that's your real name. Gibson?
Sure, let's go with that.
Gibson. All right.
Yes.
I think that was you in the comments that said...
yes, it was.
Yeah, okay. Well, good speaking to you, man.
Yes, you too.
Enjoyed our chat, and have fun.
Have a good one, man.
You too.
Take care.
Cheers, man. Ta-ra. Okay. Well, now that I've unplugged it from the desk, I will be able to put that on charge. All right. But that wasn't the phone-in phone, and so you can still phone in if you would like to phone in. The phone line is still open, and the phone is charged. And I'll just put that in the desk. There we go. So, yeah. What's the show about tonight? It's the end of the world tonight. It's not the end of the world tonight, but it's the end of the world show. And yeah, I'd be interested in hearing anybody else's thoughts on either how to enjoy the end of the world. Obviously, that's a personal thing. I think I've already, I have to a degree already staked out my favorite territory. But, you know, anybody else who has an insight into what's really going on, I'd be pleased to discuss it with you. I just happen to believe, because amongst other things, it's a fact that we have industrially reprocessed the atmosphere. That's going to be a bad thing. Agriculture will come to an end on large parts of the planet, and we're all going to go hungry. Well, I may not, because the Queen goes on holiday in Scotland, and she doesn't like, you know, the roads paved with dead people. Not yet, anyway. But see those people in the developing world, as they used to call it. They used to call it the developing world. I don't know what kind of photograph is going to come out now. But, you know, I wouldn't go on holiday anywhere they don't have shoes on their feet. And I wouldn't expect to be eating anywhere that currently people go on holiday for a suntan. Because if you're going there on holiday for a suntan at the moment, then the future is much, much hotter. Really suntanned. You'll be really suntanned in those places. North Africa, Central Africa, South Africa. Yeah, and in other places there'll be compound and other dynamic changes which I can't really imagine, and I don't think anybody can. So, yeah. Oh, the phone is ringing. Hello. So, yeah. Okay, that was a quick call. If you phone in, I will have to put the headphones on. Okay, here we go. Hello, who's on the line?
Hello, Dee.
Hello there.
Hi there. Sorry, I'm just trying to get a match up with your stream. I seem to be a few seconds behind you.
Well, I've turned my volume down and I've got headphones on for that very reason, because it will become strange.
Ah, right, okay. Yeah, this is LOL Factory calling.
Oh, LOL Factory. Yeah, I've seen you quite a few times. Thanks for watching and tuning in. How do you feel about the end of the world?
I'm not too fussed, to be honest. Don't really plan on having kids or anything like that, so I don't know if it affects me that much, really.
Oh, I would have children. They're great fun if they're good at doing the dishes.
Are they?
Good, do the dishes, make you cups of tea, and one of them might cure cancer or something. You know, one of them.
You reckon?
One of them might, I don't know, invent the thing that saves us. I'm not saying that we should have. When I talk about depopulation, I think my view of depopulation is it's something that is definitely going to happen on the other side of the razor wire.
So, you think this is maybe something orchestrated or something that is in deliberate response to something they didn't think was going to happen?
I definitely.
And now they're trying to manage it?
Well, I wish I knew. I think that the pandemic, imagine they actually did want the virus to kill loads of people and it failed. Imagine that they're just inept and that they can't even create a good deadly virus.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah.
I could imagine that. But they're just going with it anyway. No, honestly, it's really deadly. Oh my goodness, it's such a deadly plague. And then in the background they're saying, sack that guy. Who did we get to make this fucking virus? It's rubbish.
So, do you think maybe this is going to change maybe how society works in the future? Like that, this is going to be like a post-COVID world, kind of like the post-9/11 world. They'll start announcing, I don't know, new viruses or whatever, and start getting people used to lockdowns and things like that. Do you reckon there's more to come?
I wouldn't be surprised if COVID-21 came along and it was a bit stronger and maybe it took a few people out, but things have definitely changed. There's no going back. Normal wasn't normal anyway, by the way. Digging up Namibia to supply rare earth minerals so that teenagers could have ever greater, higher resolution pictures of their other teenage friends' breakfast isn't fucking normal. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah. So, sorry, carry on.
Right, so we're definitely, things have changed, and what they change into is, think of it like a series of rooms that you go into, and each one is decorated in a more and more gaudy and unpleasant style. So
it's quite morbid, isn't it?
Yeah, we're moving into a room. I don't know what the decor in the room is like, but think social conditioning, fascism, surveillance, that kind of
I mean, there's not really much you can do about that, is there? Like, surveillance is everywhere these days. There's no way of avoiding it.
Yeah, I mean, no. The question is, what is worth? When does it become worth doing something about? How bad does it have to get? And I think historically the answer to that question is hungry for 3 days.
Mm.
And
so ideally, what would you want to happen? Well, do you want there to be some sort of positive response to what's going on? I mean, do you have an answer or an idea of an answer?
I'm not sure. I don't think about what I want so much as what I don't want. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
I think I might need to change the battery.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, that should be better. I'm interested in seeing the future unfold. You know, if you'd lived through Pol Pot and the back to year zero experience of the people of Cambodia, it would have been very, very unpleasant. You would have pretty much thought the world was coming to an end, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was just a little local genocide and insanity. And so, just because it's a bit more global, the insanity is potentially just as short-lived. You know, people in the future might think, "Oh God, do you remember when there were 8 billion people? Good job. Good job we got rid of some of them." I don't know. They might be glad it happened in the future, if there is a future.
So you're happy being a bit of a passive observer, basically, but you still like talking about it.
I am, as I was saying to Gibson on the other thing, my problem is with the lie.
And what is the lie?
Well, currently the lie is the virus is dangerous, or represents a danger which is above and beyond a normal viral or flu season. That's a lie. And the other lie is that we can solar power, wind power, or green energy, or green revolution our way out of climate change. That's total, utter.
Well, a lot of people believe that. If you look at the comments on that new David Attenborough documentary, everyone's sort of harping on about that. You know, people have a lot of faith in that.
Yeah, they haven't read the science then, because there's before we start taking carbon out of the atmosphere, which is would be entirely necessary in order to stop what is happening from happening, we would have to stop putting it into the atmosphere. We'd have to get to net zero emissions to even bother. Why bother taking stuff out of the atmosphere if you're actually putting it in? That's the definition of insanity, wouldn't it be? So So, in my view, if I were at the table of the great and good with the levers of power, I would say that, and I would then say, so we've got to get rid of all the people, because there's no way you can have 8 billion people on Earth and have net zero emissions. They need too much. 90% of the world's agriculture is fossil fuel produced.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
So, I mean, have you not looked into or have your own idea of a sort of answer or something you'd want to happen?
Oh yeah, I'm aware of how it works. The process of to get to net zero, we could of course all grow our own food in a way which produced no emissions. But that is just like saying let's herd cats or farm unicorns. I don't believe that's gonna happen. There's a kind of inevitability about the way humans behave, which is stupid.
Of course, yeah.
Stupid and inept and poorly organized until it's a little bit too late. And we've already done that. You know, we've already done that bit. So
it's too late, is what you're saying. It's already
it's too late for 8 billion people. It's too late for let's all just be calmed down a bit and consume less, and I'll take a bicycle to work. That was 30 years ago. You could have done that 30 years ago. You can't do that anymore. It's too late.
So you're saying basically the solution's out the window.
Well,
and we're just going to have to deal with the consequence.
It's not that the solution isn't out of the window, but that solution, I'll get a bicycle to work and I'll get some solar panels and we'll all manage it. That's out the window. And now the solution, if you wanted there to be a solution to staving off the very worst ravages of the greenhouse effect running away and, dynamic releases of other gases like methane and the dying of the oceans, then you're now looking at how quickly can we get rid of 8 billion people, followed by, that's not even the end of it. That's just the beginning, right? That doesn't even solve your problem. Your problem's still there. Once you've killed 8 billion people, you only get to go to work on the actual problem of removing gazillions and gazillions of tons, nearly double. We've nearly doubled the concentration in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So, one thing at a time. First of all, you've got to get rid of all those people before we even begin to take carbon out of the atmosphere. And that is, I believe, where we're at. We're in that room where the people who decorate rooms say, all right, we're going to lead them into this room. We're going to tell them it's a shower and that they have to leave their clothes outside. And we're going to tell them to get some solar panels. Right? We'll tell them it's going to be fine, honestly. We'll tell them that because of something, there's less food now, and we can't let migrants move around because it's better if they starve where they are. And you can't.
But we still let migrants move around, don't we? And they're heavily promoting being aware of climate change and being more responsible for yourselves.
There are 250 million refugees on Earth today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are they a refugee from, and where are they going to get this refuge that they are refugeeing on their way to?
No idea. I suppose they're all quite sporadically displaced, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just going to live in tents until the food runs out. That's what, that is my favourite. It's not that I think that is going to happen, but if I had to imagine, how does it go down? Agriculture failing causes famines and kills people faster than war, disease, anything. It's the great leveler, and I think some of that is probably quite likely. And then, if you get around to taking the carbon out of the atmosphere, by the way, you do need an industrial base. You need some well-trained people. You need academia. You need science, technology. You need commerce. So somewhere on Earth, in order to facilitate making equipment that removes carbon from the atmosphere, you have to maintain an industrial consumer, in inverted commas, base. And that'll be us. And that's where we live. We'll be shuffled into the room. And now in this room, you're all going to help make the stuff that Elon Musk invented, and Jeff Bezos is going to sell it to us. Or people
because we can't use fossil fuels anymore.
No, you can't. That's why.
Okay.
So
sorry, carry on.
None of that sounds like a bad thing to me. That just sounds like a couple of chapters in a decent science fiction book.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I suppose so. I always wanted to ask you, what is your sort of background in education or work or whatever?
If
you don't mind.
Not at all. I left school and did an engineering apprenticeship in Her Majesty's Dockyard in Rosyth.
Oh yeah, we got one of those down here actually.
Where are you?
Plymouth.
Oh man, I used to live in Plymouth.
Oh yeah, where to?
I lived in St. Budo.
Oh yeah. Cool. Yeah, not too far from me.
Yeah, that was married quarters.
Yeah.
And then I lived in Salt Ash.
Over the water. Yeah.
I went to school in Plymouth. I went to Widey Technical Grammar for Boys, and then I went to Salt Ash Comprehensive. And
so what? Okay, so you came down here for education. Is that right?
Well, no, I was there. I was there when I started high school, and then I left.
Yeah.
And I went back to Scotland, and I finished high school in Scotland, in Dunfermline, where I was born. And then when I left school, I did the apprenticeship in the dockyard, and then I left the dockyard after serving my time, and I spent 10 years in bands doing drugs and travelling around Europe. And being unemployed and signing on the dole. And they just used to give you the money and not even ask you what the fuck you were doing. They never asked you anything. I'm here to sign on. There you go. Thank you. Bye. That was all you ever heard.
Oh, yeah.
It was great.
That sounds brilliant.
Oh, it was awesome.
I'll get to that.
Yeah. So when they changed that, I went back to college and I did film and television. And then I didn't, I'd started building computers and I'd started my own business, so I ended up working for a family that I met while I was at college. And I worked in London as an IT consultant in the city, which was interesting.
Oh, yeah.
And then the dot-com bust led to my boss. My boss suffered greatly in the dot-com bust. She was overextended, as they say. So I came back to Scotland.
Yeah.
And I did a degree in natural science in the Open University. I taught film and television for a bit. I made the fucking news.
You did a political campaign as well.
I started a political party and a religion, and recently I just did a degree in art at Abertay.
You've done quite a lot, haven't you? You've been around a bit.
Well, you know.
I'm impressed.
Let's not hang about. Let's get on with it. I enjoyed doing all that. I would have done some other stuff if I'd enjoyed that as well. But I don't think you need, I really don't think you need to be incredibly well educated to understand the effects of CO2 on the atmosphere. And it does somewhat, I do get worked up a bit when there's a debate about the science, because the climate change is a thing. The greenhouse effect is a thing, which, this is a kind of logic which cannot be refuted. If you take the greenhouse gases out, then the greenhouse effect stops happening. And the more of them you take out, the more it stops happening. Therefore, the more greenhouse gases you put in, the more it happens. It's not even fucking complicated, man.
Were you always a believer in this? Because when I grew up, I was told by certain people, that it was just used as leverage to raise taxes and things like that.
No, it's not even like I believed it. I mean, it's really basic science. It's.
I mean, did you always? I mean, have you always held that understanding?
When I read it, I read it from the point of view of, well, see, when I was at high school, I did the 3 sciences. I've always been. When I say always, I mean like. As long as I can remember, I have been an astronomer. I've always had a telescope. I've always, from being a wee boy, I've always thought that the world and the universe and the cosmos was a natural unfolding event underpinned by the laws of physics, and that it was my duty to understand how that was happening. So if you understand a little chemistry and physics, you can't. It's impossible to put more greenhouse gases into the system and for it not to get warmer. It's impossible. It would defy the laws of physics for it to be otherwise. And so, do you know that for the last 30 years, the Exxon and other fossil fuel companies paid for people to go to college to become scientists so that they could graduate and spread misinformation throughout their entire...
I didn't know that, but I can believe that.
Yeah, and they're now being sued. There are now people investigating how many people they funded to go through college to come out and talk shite about the fucking climate.
It sounds like Israel, where they, apparently you can get some sort of college funding or something if you work for them, shilling Israel on the internet.
I mean, America's got a similar system for vets, hasn't it? If you kill for the flag, you can get educated.
No, exactly.
So, so it's incontrovertible to me. I don't. I've never doubted it. And as Lone Wolf says there, never believe no. Either you know something or you don't. Believing something means that you really ought to be acquiring some knowledge about it. And so if linguistically and semantically you are saying, well, I believe that the value of Apple shares will go up, then you're a gambler. You're surmising something out of the entrails of a chicken. So I've never believed in climate change. The phrase means you should read about the climate and what affects it and figure it out for yourself and take nobody else's word for it.
No, okay. I get where you're coming from.
So it's everybody's duty who doesn't believe in God. I always thought this. I don't believe in God. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means I ought to be able to describe what as much as we know. It should be the duty of atheists to have in their head the model and the words to explain to people, no, it's not, that's not what does that. It's not God, it's not mysterious, it's not magic. It's caused by forces of nature which we understand and we can quantify.
Yeah, something quantifiable, measurable, provable, all the good stuff. So, I'm going to go to bed now, Deke.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, we covered a bit of ground there, so thanks for prodding me with those questions.
Yeah, I was just going to say, been watching your videos for, like, I think the past 5 years now. Just going to give a little shout out to Marty, because he was the one who told me about your videos.
Oh, well, good on him.
We used to play World of Warcraft together. You know who you are if you're watching this. And yeah, thanks for the entertainment, Deke. I enjoy it.
LOL Factory, not Lul Factory. I'm sure I've read your name out wrong. It's LOL Factory.
Correct.
Right. Well, nice speaking to you, man. Have fun and shoot 'em up.
Take it easy, dude.
You too. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Bye. Well. Okay. And boom. The lines are now closed, and I've been on an hour and did a live show before, which was fun. So we'll leave it there. Thanks for all tuning in, and I hope you found some of that entertaining or informative or both. It's getting cold. Winter is coming. I'll probably do more of this and hopefully be better prepared next time. I hope you enjoy the end of the world. I really do. It's always the end of the world. It's a bit like the middle of time. You know, it's always the middle of time because however, if you look backwards, it's an infinity of time. And if you look forwards, it's an infinity of time, which puts you exactly in the middle of time. Right there, always, always the middle of time. And it's always the end of the world in the middle of time. So remain in hell without despair. Enjoy the ride and have fun. Okay, I'll catch you later. Oh, the Circus Fantasticus is doing a live stream on Sunday night with some interesting new funky, dubby, rocking grooves. See you there. Cheers.